Muted.
Hello everybody and welcome to today's Meetings and Events webinar on behalf of Click Travel. My name is Rebecca Garlick and I'm from ABC Connection, and I'm joined today by Amanda Norrie from Click Travel. I'll pass you over to Amanda in just a minute. She will be introducing herself and providing you with some information regarding Click Travel, their clients and their expectations from your venues. And then once she's completed that, I will take you through how to complete a meeting request from Click Travel. Before I pass you over, just a little information. Today's call will be a silence call. This is to minimise any background noise due to numbers and ensure you can all hear the presentation. If after the call you still have any questions, we will be sending out a short survey that will have an area for you to ask those questions after the presentation. I will now pass you over to Amanda. Hi Amanda, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, that's great.
Amazing. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining. So anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Amanda Norrie, and I look after our meetings and events department here at Click Travel. So I'll just give you a little bit of information and overview about us, and then just a few kind of hints and tips on areas that we want to make sure that you're completing. So for anyone that doesn't know a lot about Click Travel, we're a modern travel management company, and what kind of makes us different is that we're mainly online, so all our transient bookings go through about 96% are no touch. For our meetings and events, again, all clients submit these bookings online, but the team do touch every single booking. So currently we've got over 20,000 plus MICE transactions yearly with an acceptance rate of about 87%. We are growing very quickly. We're about 50% up on last year at the moment, and we do continue to grow as we get new clients, and also our existing clients increase their spend with us. So it's really important that kind of everyone gets on board with using the system in the right way. There's a little quick overview here of the team. There's actually an extra 2 people that have joined, so there's 14 of us currently. So you might recognise some of the names there, and it's nice to put a face to the name. So we have over 125 clients that use us for MICE. As you can see, there's a lot of large, well-known brands. Heathrow Airport's very large for us. Obviously Red Bull, Severn Trent, so all different types of sectors there as well. So there's kind of 3 main reasons why our clients use us for meetings and events. So first one being to save them time. Obviously the system's really quick, and we have a very tight SLA for the clients, which is 4-hour turnaround. Also for our knowledge and experience. Obviously we understand all of the different venues and the locations. A lot of our team have worked in the venues as well, which helps. And we work really close with all our clients and their requirements. And then lastly is obviously to save money, making sure that we always offer the best rate and also any added value. So what do we need from you? So when it comes to saving time, making sure that your contact details are up to date. We often find that there's a lot of contact details within each page. So we just want to make sure we're sending the inquiry to the right people to start off with. For all venues, you have a 2-hour SLA, which I know can be tight, but this is to ensure that we get back to our clients as quickly as possible. So please do make sure you respond within 2 hours. And contracts are quite important as well. We have a couple of clients that it's very important that they get their contracts back as soon as possible. So as soon as we send you that confirmation through, please do make sure you upload your contract straight away so we can get that over to the client and get it all confirmed in the system. Again, just make sure that all your information and images are up to date. Because we're online, the clients log all their booking inquiries themselves and load them through the system. So they're the ones that will see your kind of profile that you've got in there. So as much you can put in is better for the client. And obviously make sure your defaults are all completed. So if you want the business, you need to kind of show it. So when it comes to knowledge and experience, just make sure that you're putting in all of the full day delegate rates, the information. Don't just put DDR in the rate, actually put what it includes. And if you've got something a bit different, like it's not just a bog standard lunch, maybe it's a themed lunch or whatever it might be, just put all the full details there. Again, complete all the requirements. We tend to find that sometimes the car parking or your cancellation policy can be missed off, or sometimes the cancellation policy is too complex and it's not kind of bespoke to that booking inquiry. So please try and make sure that you kind of tailor make it as well. Every single booking is double checked by the team before we send them over to you. So if we only ask for room hire and tea or coffee, then please only quote for that. Sometimes we get people changing the inquiries and it's not coming back with what the client actually wants. We'd also ask that you add the name in of who's completed the submission, just so that if we need to give you a quick ring to clarify anything, it's easy for the team to do that. And obviously, lastly, your USPs, make sure you're putting in what's special about your venue. Make sure that you kind of stand out, because ultimately, once all the rates come back, we send the proposal to the client. They need to see which venue, has got maybe some different quirky features or whatever it may be. So obviously, more information you add, the more likely the client's going to pick your venue. And then lastly, obviously save money. Ultimately, we need to get offered the best rate possible, so make sure you're quoting to win the business. As I'm sure you can appreciate, we're so busy, we don't have time to keep chasing you. So please offer your very, very best rate first time round. And if you do have any added value, to add that in, because that will help you win the business. It doesn't matter how small or big it is, whether it's complimentary breakfast rolls or upgraded breaks, just kind of make it so that your proposal stands out from the crowd. So the kind of main three key information that we always need is we need that quick turnaround within 2 hours. Make sure you complete all sections, and obviously lastly, make sure you price to win the business. Right, thank you for your time today, everybody.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Okay, I will now take you through completing an RFM. True blue piece of fashion. We have here's one I created earlier. First of all, I just want to go through the basics of logging into the system. Once you receive a new inquiry, it will contain a link with your URL, and there will be a click here if you've forgotten your password. There's also a click here to create your password and if you've forgotten it. So once we've logged into the system, where we will access the new inquiries is business alerts. And just before we go into that, I just want to go through a couple of the little items that Amanda made sure were very important to them. So contacts. So in Contact Manager, this is where you manage and add all your contacts. So you can view all the contacts you've got available. You can add new ones from here. I'm not going to go through this in too much detail because, as you should now all be aware, we have quite a major release for our hotels and venues that's available to you from Monday. We are running 9 webinars, Monday to Wednesday next week, 3 each day. So get yourself booked on one of those to see all our exciting changes that we've got coming up. Another section that was discussed was the admin section, so your defaults. So if we click in here, and we go to rates page text default, here you can preload what is included in a rate. So for example, we've got a 24-hour rate and we're putting in everything that's included. This will save you time when you're responding to inquiries. If this is already pre-stored, I'll show you how you can use that when you're answering inquiries. So make sure you get that up to date. This feature is only available for those properties with an upgraded listing with ABC Connection. And it's just an extra feature to make sure that everything is standardized and everything is quick and easy for you to respond with. Okay, back to the inquiry. Okay, so you'll see that you've taken into the all section. You can split this up. and use the filters. Again, those options are only available to those with an upgraded listing, but you will be able to see all inquiries listed here. This is the one we're going to use today, so you can see that it's a meeting, you can see the reference number, the value, when it's required by. You can see I've only got 19 minutes left on this one, who the agent is, what the status is, and you click here to respond. The first tab that it takes you to is the Introduction tab. Now mostly this page is just for information. You'll see who the client is, who the inquiry was sent by, the event title and who the on-site contact is going to be. And you'll also see what location they're looking at. You'll also get a full description of exactly what is required for the booking. So accommodation, meeting, equipment and catering. And then you'll have the policy documents. If any policy documents are requested via Click Travel for this particular booking, you'll be able to upload them here. You will also, again, if you've got an upgraded listing, you will be able to store these so you don't have to upload them from your desktop each and every time. The next tab along is the meeting rates section. And this has 3 to 4 tabs, so depending on the requirement. So the first bit you'll say which currency you're going to use. This will default to the standard currency for the country you are located, but you can update if needs be. If there is meeting rooms required, you'll get the meeting room tab. If there's accommodation, you'll get the accommodation tab. If there's anything else, so catering, equipment, table centres, team building, anything else, that will appear on the other requirements, and then you will also see the added value section. If we work our way through the meeting room section first, you'll be selecting which room you will be offering. If your property is upgraded with ABC Connection and you've updated your content and images, you will have stored all the meeting room information within the system. So you select that from the drop down, and the only thing you will have to enter each and every time is the minimum numbers. That's because even if the room holds 50, if it's only a meeting for 20, you might still only have minimum numbers of 18, but if it's for 40, you might have minimum numbers of 35. So that's dependent on the inquiry itself rather than the room, so we make you enter that each and every time, and it is a mandatory field. This top line here will pre-populate from the information that's provided in the requirement. All you would do is select what rate you are offering. Then you would enter here what your rate includes. So that is, you are able to free text that, and this is where the rates page defaults come in. So if you click Use Save Text and select one of the options from the drop down, that will pre-populate the information into this section as I've done here. If you make any changes to this, or if you add something extra that you're going to start using for special items or just for Click Travel, you can save this text for reusing another time, and you can give it a name and it will appear in this drop down next time you're doing a booking. The next section is the availability. You select the day and what option you're holding on, first, second, joint or not held. Although not held is available, it wouldn't be something that we would advise you to use. The agents are contacting you and need to be able to propose your venue to the client, and unless you're holding that space, they're not going to be able to present it to the client, as it might not be available by the time the client makes a decision. If you have selected any of these, you can either hold it until further notice, so leave it as no held until date, or you can select when you're going to release the space. If this is a rate that's included, you can select here this requirement is included, and it will remove those text boxes. If not, you will see that the VAT rate will pre-populate into whatever the VAT rate is for your country. Again, this can be overtyped. You'll see what the rates must include VAT or be exclusive of VAT. You won't be able to change that, but it's an indicator for what you're looking for. It will also pre-populate the expected commission from Click Travel, but again, you are able to update that if you've got a special offer and you want to increase that. Then you can put in the standard rate, which is your rack rate, and your offered rate. From here, from what you select at the top, this will pre-populate and create the subtotal for you. If at any time when you're completing this inquiry, you get called away to do something else, you can click here as Save as Draft. As you can see, this is greyed out because I've submitted it, but you're able to save as draft, and that will save where you are up to. The next tab is accommodation. Again, if there's no accommodation required, this tab won't appear. And it works exactly the same way. So you'll get the date, the room basis, and the rates. As you can see here, even though they've got a meeting room and accommodation, the inquiry didn't ask for dinner, so we wouldn't assume that they wanted a 24-hour rate. We'd offer it on a day delegate and a bed and breakfast rate. That's what CLIC was saying, is that if they're asking for a room hire and tea and coffee, don't offer them a day delegate rate. And the last section is other requirements. So you can see here we've got catering, we've got refreshments and lunch, and an LCD projector and screen. Here you can say where the lunch is going to be served, giving them as much information as you've got available to make their decision easy. And then finally, added value. So here, this is where you can add in all the added value you're offering for this booking. As we're all aware, rates do differ between hotels, but hotels that are all of a similar standard, the rates are not going to make a massive difference for each one unless you've got a promotion or some special offer. So added value is really where you can sell your venue. So here I've added that bacon rolls on arrival, and it should have been £50, but that will just show as a value. So you just put it in the total, and this will just show that they've saved an extra £50 on top of their savings from the reductions in the day delegate rate. Once you've completed, you hit validate and save. It will confirm the total cost of your rate. Do have a quick look at this, because if you've typed something incorrectly and you might end up with something like 17,000 for a very small booking, it's not going to be useful. So then you press OK, and then your rates are completed. The next tab you get to is requirements. Now these are split up into categories covering safety and security and duty of care, and these can all be pre-populated into your default if you have an upgraded listing with ABC Connection. There's a lot of features, I'm sorry I keep repeating myself with that, but there's a lot of features available to those properties with an upgraded listing. So I just want to make sure you're aware of each and every one that will affect this booking. So you can see there's some safety and security questions, from wheelchair user, deaf, hard of hearing, blind and visually impaired, lone traveller, environment, technology. Now these will only appear if questions have been asked in that section. So you'll know there's a question there if it's available, and then agent requirements. Now these are typical questions of CLIC Travels, and it will be here about your brief description of your cancellation policy. Don't copy and paste your standard terms and conditions. There's too much information. It needs to be something you can see at a quick glance. This is a short leave booking for next week. The 100% charges will apply from acceptance. And when you've completed each and every section, you click Save Requirements. Now you've completed the inquiry. Just before you go to submit, I would advise you went to the proposal section. This will tell you what you're going to look like to the end client. So it'll show you what pictures are there, the details of your property and your unique selling points. As Amanda said, make sure they're up to date, make sure they're correct, and keep that updated in your content manager. Now you're ready to submit the inquiry. So it'll pre-populate with the information we hold against your login, but if it's a group login, make sure that you put in your name, because that will then display back to the agent, and if you've got any questions they'll be able to ask those quickly. Anything marked with a red asterisk means it's mandatory. And then again you have to reconfirm that you've read the section about VAT within the booking and that you confirm these rates are inclusive of VAT. Once you've done that, you hit submit. And that's then closed and gone back to the agent. Now once you have submitted your rates, you're unable to make any changes. Any changes or any updates you need to make, or any communication at all you need to make with the agent, please use the Communications tab. This will work as like an instant messenger. It covers an audit trail of everything that's happened in the booking. And then you can ask your question here. This will go directly to the agent and they will be alerted of that, and they will be able to type that and it will appear here. If you're not in the system, when you get the response, don't worry, you will also get an email to say that you've had a response to your communication, or if it's a communication and a question directly from the agent without you asking one, you'll be able to answer it in the same way and you'll get an email alert. If, when you've read the introduction page, you're unavailable, you're fully booked, or you won't be able to make for this inquiry, you can go straight to the reject tab. You don't need to worry about the 3 before it. And you can provide your name, contact details, and the reason you are rejecting. You must provide a reason that you are not offering space for this, so that that can be shown to the client on the proposal as a venue tried. Another important part that Amanda made was about the contract. Now you'll see the contract tab here, and you can see that it's greyed out. This only becomes active once your venue has been accepted. So if we go back into the inbox and find an accepted booking here, you'll get a confirmation. You'll be able to log back into the system to upload your contract. So you click here for contract. You put in the date that it's due. You want the contract back tomorrow, and then you choose a file from your computer and click open. Once that is loaded, you can click send to agent. The agent will then review that. They will either, if there's anything wrong with it, they'll reject it back for you to update in here, or they'll send it on to the client. Once they receive the signed copy back from the client, they will send back to you, and again it will all be stored within this system, and it will be available for you at any time. It keeps it all very centralized and easy to find any information. I think that takes us to the end of today's call. Thank you very much for spending some time listening to what we have to say and what Amanda has to say, and we hope you found it very useful. I will send a short survey out to you just after the call, and again there'll be a section for you to ask any questions within that. Thank you very much. Goodbye.